All right, let's talk about Barbarian. I kind of put off watching this at first because, well, the title doesn't say a lot, but the description. I'm going to read the description. In town for a job interview, a young woman arrives at her Airbnb rental late at night, only to find that the house has been mistakenly double booked and a strange man is already staying there. It doesn't sound terribly gripping, but you'd be completely mistaken to go by that description. It's a very clever description in that it does describe what happens. It describes the basic setup at the beginning of the film, but it doesn't in any way whatsoever prepare you for what comes later. There are spoilers in this review, by the way. I'm not going to be able to talk about the film without, well, at least meaningfully, without spoiling it. So I'll switch off now if you don't want it spoiling, or hang around if you don't give a shit. So let me just get the cast up there, bring that down. So it starts with Tess arriving at Airbnb. Now it's pitch black. She can't see the neighborhood. She doesn't know where this place is, but the house is nice. And she struggles with the keypad, checks her booking on her phone and gets the correct key code, goes to get the key out, there's no key. As she's sitting in the car, light comes on in the window, she goes, bangs on the door again, and it's answered by Keith. And this is where it pulls a bit of a psycho, because Georgina Campbell plays Tess beautifully. She starts off quite now. I don't mean this to sound like I didn't like the character, because I did, but she starts off quite focused on herself, which, she's preparing for an interview. She's expecting the house to be booked by herself and herself alone. So she starts off in a point of she's kind of up to here stress level wise. So it's understandable. But Keith is nice as ninepence, really a nice guy, played by Bill Skarsgård. So you can't, and if you're wondering which of the 74 million acting Skarsgårds that is, it's the chap who played Pennywise in the It remake. So you're kind of looking at him and you're thinking, he generally plays people who aren't quite what they seem. If you've seen Castle Rock, you would know straight away what I mean. Really, really good actor, and kind of wasted in it. I felt, not that he wasn't good, he was, but it was all about visual effects, and I felt like his performance, he could have been utilized more in the way that Tim Curry was in the original, because he is an excellent actor, and he shows it in this because he's a really nice guy, and you straight away take to him. You take to him, in fact, more than you do to Georgina Campbell's character, which is not by any stretch of the imagination her fault. So, I've got a little bit of an MS wobble going on with my left hand there. Let me just shift that about a bit. It's better. I do have a tripod, but I have no room to put it. Anyway, so there you go. Anyway, Bill Skarsgård, Keith, lovely character. And what I mean by pulling a psycho is that he's fucked, basically. He's Janet Leigh. They find, or rather Tess finds, a hidden basement. So obviously she goes down to investigate. She actually has a pretty sensible reason for going down and as far as she does, and that's because the door from the main house has shut on her and she can't get it open, and Keith is out, so she's looking for a way out. However, she really doesn't want to go down this dark place, so she doesn't. This dark, scary place. She finds this hidden door. So she tries to find a way out of the basement, and eventually Keith comes back and rescues her. Now, she's going on about this hidden room, and she's scared there's somebody else there. She knows there's somebody else there, and yada yada yada. And he's all matter of fact. Well, no, I'm not just going to believe you. Just I don't know you. I'm not just going to take it at face value. So he goes down to investigate, and you hear him, and then you don't. And Tess shows her inner metal. She's not all about herself. She goes down to find him. And this is where the movie starts, really. When Keith turns up, and Keith is in this passageway, and he's really trying to get out, but he's on his hands and knees. He's completely freaked out. And you really feel for him because he's a nice guy, and they've done a really good job of connecting the audience with Keith. He is real, and you're behind him 100%. And it's Bill Skarsgård, so you're thinking, he's got to get out. So come on, get up off your knees. Come on, you'll be all right, And she's trying to lift him up. I don't want to be here, and all this. And she gets him up on his feet, and you're thinking, yes, here we go. And there's been a hint of, she kind of quite likes him, and he certainly fancies her, and why not? She's lovely. And so you're thinking, these two are going to team up, and whatever's down there is just as screwed as they are. But then you realise it's only been on for about 25 minutes, so there's another hour or so, an hour and a half to go. So you kind of think there's got to be more to it than this. And there is. And part of the more to it comes running down the passageway. This tall, naked female thing running down this passageway and grabs hold of Bill Skarsgård and smashes his brains in. All on camera, of course. There's no shying away in this film. It is barbaric. But that's great for gore fans, and it shows a level of threat that's involved. And you're left with Tess staring at this creature, and it cuts to black. You're like, what? It gives you that moment to think, Bill Skarsgård's dead. What the hell? And so they have pulled a psycho. Now, the rest of the film I'm not going to go into detail on, but that's the whole thing, that the film suddenly switches. And then you've got the owner of the place, a just about to be shamed actor played by Justin Long, who you would know from Jeepers Creepers. The creature got his peepers at the end of the film. So it's Justin Long, who kept reminding me of somebody, and I was struggling to place who he reminded me of. But he's very good in it. He's very good at playing this nice guy who, by the end of the film, you kind of realize may not be quite as nice. And it's the whole point of the film. You know, you've got the bad guys, as usual, are human. You know, this creature is a human being. And by the end, the motivations are very human. Screwed up, totally twisted, but human. And the film has heart, despite being as barbaric as the title would seem to indicate. It has heart, and it's that heart that you come away feeling and remembering. Yes, it's horrific. There are some horrific bits, and this creature, this female, this woman, naked, screeching, head crushing woman. She's horrific. And there's a line about 3/4 of the way in. She is not even the scariest thing in the house. That's the line. So you're like, oh, really? Okay. It's a bit of a misdirect, but there is something more horrible in the house. That's for certain. And again, it comes down. Human beings are assholes, basically. But even the humans who are nice can be assholes as well. And you know, it's kind of one of these. Don't take anything for granted, because depending on the situation, any one of us could turn out to be a bit of a twat, which Justin Long's character serves to demonstrate at the end of it. Richard Brake plays Frank. He's horrible. But Richard Brake, God bless him, you look at his face and you think, I really believe he could be a serial killer. Every film he's in, you look at him and you go, serial killer, even if he's a good guy. He's both a serial killer and worse than a serial killer, all at the same time. And so as soon as you see him walk on screen, you're like, okay, serial killer. You wouldn't be far wrong. And he's terrific. He plays to his strengths, as he always does. The standout is, I love Justin Long in this film, but Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård, they steal the show, really, as does the mother, who's played by a gentleman called Matthew Patrick Davis. Terrific performance, really superb performance. Kind of, I'm going to show my age here, kind of reminiscent for me of Christopher Lee when he played Frankenstein's monster in Curse of Frankenstein and the title character in The Mummy, 1959. A huge amount of performance with no or next to no lines. Superb, really, really relatable in a screwed up kind of way. So I loved this film. It gets very high ratings. Let me just check what the ratings are on IMDb. 7.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 92%, and Metacritic 78%. And I'm gonna go right up there with like 85%. I loved it. This film is a really, really good film. Enjoyable is not a word that really suits it, because it's tense, but it's very, 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 very good. Heartily recommend it. And I think Aero here, he's asleep at the minute, but he did watch it with me, and he also would recommend it wholeheartedly. So from me and the rat, we'll catch you later.